Quick one before we begin the video. My next video is going to be a Q&A. We haven't done one in a while, so I thought it might be nice. If you've any questions about anything, leave them in the comments below of this video and I'll do my best to answer them. Now enjoy the rest of the video. Lads, lassies, welcome back to the YouTube channel. And today's video, we're going to be discussing but also showing you how to do three basics that are going to help your progress with your wakeboarding massively over the next year or two. And if you haven't learned them yet, then they're absolutely worth learning. The first is how to do what's called a bunny hop, which is also known as an Ollie. Now I have done a full tutorial on this, which you can watch up there, but it's a little bit old. Probably a little bit cringy because it was younger Dave. And the second is actually how to do a bunny hop 180. This is so fundamental. It really helps, particularly linking tricks up. If you ever plan to do a competition, it's almost essential, and it actually will reduce the chance of you getting a face plant if you're switching around. And then the last, which is definitely the most important, is how to ride cuffed, aka blind. This is kind of the early stages of how to actually do a blind landing, and it will help you stop doing this. Yeah, so that does happen, and I actually think learning to ride cuffed, learning to ride blind, it's so fundamental. If you don't learn at an early point in your wakeboarding extravaganza or whatever you want to call it, you will suffer down the line. And I've actually seen it break some really promising wakeboarders because they just can't break through it. It takes time, but don't worry, in this video we're going to be covering it. So we'll begin with how to Ollie or how to bunny hop. So first things first, speed is going to be your friend here. And if you don't speak with an Irish accent, speed is speed. Now, that will seem a little bit intimidating and a little bit daunting, but hear me out here. If you're running really, really slow, then you're going to struggle to get the board out of the water because it's almost suctioned down by the water. So in terms of what speed, I'd say if you have the boat or the cable running at about 20 miles per hour roughly. Now, when it's at that speed, it means your board isn't that deep in the water, which gives you the ability to get out. Another tip is if the boat is going a little bit slower, then try and actually edge away from the wake. This actually helps both with the line tension, which we'll get to, but also with giving you a little bit more speed. Now, let's imagine we're behind a boat, but the same principles apply for the cable. So you want to start at the wake, and then you actually want to cut out on your heel side edge. Then as you get out, the real secret here is to come off your edge, because a lot of people try and do it on their edge. But you want to actually come off your edge and get on a flat board. Then you can wait maybe 1 to 2 seconds. So cut out 1, 2 on a flat board, and that's when you should have almost the peak of your speed. At this point, you want to maybe take your backhand off the handle and you want to lean on your back foot massively. Basically, you want to put almost all the weight on your back foot. And then the secret with the Ollie is to just jump off your back foot. A lot of people try and jump off boat feet, and again, your board will get stuck. So really just lean back on that back foot, ignore your front foot completely, and then just pop up off your back leg. Genuinely, this movement is the movement. You don't need to overcomplicate it. It's very much a one-footed jump, which seems counterintuitive, but trust me on that. So a big secret with it is obviously make sure your board's flat, make sure you have enough speed, and then jumping off your back foot. Those are the three fundamentals. Another one I find that can help, particularly if you want to get a little bit higher, is to make sure when you do push down on your back foot, you also want to push down a little bit on the handle. If the handle is too high, too low, you'll struggle a little bit. So actually try and just push down on the handle. It should help you a little bit too. That leads us quite beautifully into the second basic that we need to learn here, which is the 180 or the bunny hop 180. So again, you want to do this on your heels. If you do this on your toes, completely different kettle of fish. So cut out on your heels, but this time you really want to focus on keeping 2 hands on the handle. And in fact, you could just do some 2-handed bunny hops to get in the mood for this and to kind of practice it. As you get out there, now a big thing here is to not try and spin too early. What happens to a lot of people is they go into the 180 too soon and then whoop, boom, they catch a face plant. So here you want to make sure you want to get up onto your back foot, you want to jump up, and once you're in the air you want to try and pull your back hip up to the handle. So just to recap through how that goes, you cut out on your heels nice and strong, you flatten off, count to 1 or 2 seconds, onto your back foot, bunny hop up. Once you're in the air, pull your hip up to your handle, and if you want you can actually let go of that hand. And the last bit of the secret sauce is to look at the opposite shore. That should be all okay, and hopefully going well. You'll learn that pretty quickly, especially if you've got a good ollie and you're comfortable riding switch, which you should be because it's a fundamental. Now the last trick, and this is a little bit left of field of what this is, and some people might not have the patience for this, but trust me, it's worth learning early on. So for the example that I'm going to show you now, I'll do it left foot forward, but you can do it right foot forward just as easily. So if you're cutting out and you're cruising around, you actually want to go over the wake on your toes. And then what you want to do is right at the wake, because if you go too far out, it's going to be a little bit harder. If you go too far in, it's going to be a little bit harder too. So it's about finding that right point. And it's exactly where I do it on the screen now. So there, what you want to do is you want to try and put a little bit more weight on your front foot, bring your hip up to the handle. Now watch the handle. I actually twist it in. And when I twist it in, it means, if I show you here, it's a little bit easier to grab it. So basically you want to twist in the handle, but the weird part about this is you don't want to look with your head around like that, because that will continue the momentum. Instead, you want to try and keep your head forward and grab that handle. And then it's just about putting a little bit of weight on your toes, a little bit of weight on your toes, cut out and come back in. And you can practice this with drills. And I actually advise learning it both sides, because it's going to help you both with your handle passes, but also with your riding blind. Hopefully that helps. And remember, this summer I just did a massive series on 0 to hero. So from having never wakeboarded ever before, all the way up to being able to do flips and things like that. If you haven't watched it, I advise giving it a look. And these are just a few little tricks that I left out, but I definitely think are essential. Now, if you have any questions, let us know in the comments, and hopefully you learned something from it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.